welcome to Fright Night.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
Please welcome Art the Clown!
We can defeat death. We can achieve every doctor's dream. You'll be famous.
Me and my brother, when we were little kids, my mother would show us horror films instead of kid shows. So we grew up on it, and I remember the first horror film that ever really scared me as a kid was It, the original It with Pennywise with Tim Curry. I wouldn't take a shower for weeks because there was that scene where he came out of the drain, and me and my brother were just so frightened, but we were also so memorized on how like these movies impacted people. So we knew from a very young age that we wanted to, be filmmakers, but then by loving the genre and falling in love with all these movies, that's when we really wanted to zero in on making horror films. Eventually we knew at a young age, but we knew we wanted to do this more professionally. So in 2010 is when we formed the business with Steve and Mike. And then we just started doing, little by little, YouTube things. And then we did short films and we did feature films and we went to festival circuits and we started meeting people. And then that's usually the way it goes. Like a lot of people think you go and learn in a school and then hopefully it comes to you. I say for any filmmaker who's just starting out, you have to go out and do it and go out and actually be on set, learn the terminology, learn how things are lit. Because it's not always the right way that makes it look good. Because when all you're looking at is the little thing in the box, a little small thing on the screen, and if it looks good there, no matter what, how you rig a light, how you do this, how you do that, it's all insignificant. It's just as long as that little box or that picture looks good, you're golden. But there's certain ways that you learn from different people, and how to do certain things, and that's the most important thing, is learning by trial and error. We were shooting a film back in 2015 called Abnormal Attraction. The sound guy actually for it, who was a really close friend of mine who was doing sound on the day of shooting, said, "Hey, I got a producer friend, his name is Phil Falcone. He wants to come down. Is it all right if I bring him to set? He loves movies and things like that." And we said, "Yeah, of course." So he came down to set one overnight. I remember we were filming on a location on Staten Island, and he came down, he introduced himself. And this was before Terrifier was really a big thing, and they've already done like a bulk of the shooting for the first one. Phil saw the way we worked. He liked it a lot, and he said, "You guys are very hardworking." He said, "Hey, listen, I got a movie. It's a clown film. I don't know if it's going to really go anywhere. We're just, shooting it. We shot out a bulk of it." He goes, "Would you guys want to help us do some pickup shots? Because I see how you guys are working." And we said, "Yeah, of course, because obviously you're not going to turn down something, work-wise." We didn't know what it was going to be. We just said, "You know what, whatever, we'll do it. We're always down to work." And we shot the pickups. And then they wanted to add two scenes. One was the decapitation scene because they didn't feel like they had enough kills in it. Imagine me saying that. They didn't have enough kills in Terrifier. But they wanted to add another one, so they wanted to add that decapitation scene. They wanted to add a reshoot with the two cops, that whole scene at the end. So they said, "Hey, I know you guys, film, but do you guys act?" And we said, "Yeah, we act and whatever." So he said, "All right, Phil goes, just send me a self-taped audition, and I'll send it over to Damien, and we'll see if you get it." Because at this point, us and Phil, we were really clicking. And then we submitted the auditions like any other person would, and we got the parts. And then the first one spiraled out of control, which is crazy. Had its like niche following, and then we were asked to team up on Terrifier 2. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know, it was going to be this, sensation, this next horror icon. We had no idea. We were just filming a movie and just to see what happened. When we saw him come out in the makeup, because we haven't seen really any pictures of what clown actually looked like. We just knew it was a movie about a killer clown. And I was like, oh, okay, a lot of them have been done. But when he came out, we said, holy shit. We were like, this is a character that can really, catch on. So Damien does all the effects for it. That's the whole thing too, why it takes a long time, because you have a core group of like 9 to 10 people making a movie that's, especially Terrifier 2, that's so, hands-on special effects driven. And Damien and Phil worked their asses off to make these prosthetics work and to make these effects work. And obviously they did such a phenomenal job. Damien's one of the best to do it. And Phil's really coming into his own as well. When we were in pre-production for Terrifier 2, nonstop, Phil and Damien all the time, working on moles, working on, decapitated heads, arms, legs, like everything. And they were in that basement nonstop. And it goes out to them because that's also why, because you have Damien who's directing the movie, but he has to take a step back also because every time someone gets stabbed or every time someone's arm comes off or every time someone gets decapitated, he has to go and do the effects too. So he's wearing multiple hats. Everybody on the set really was wearing multiple hats. So, that's what happens when you're doing low budget, but, it creates that family type atmosphere that you don't want to, ever let go. After Terrifier came out on Netflix, it had a thing on Netflix for like 2 years. Me and my brother went to Halloween 40, which is the convention in Los Angeles, and this was on like the brink of the first one, really taking off. And we were walking around the conventions, and people were selling art merchandise, and we were like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "This is crazy!" Like a lot of people are already starting to draw to this character, and it's already here, which is one of the biggest conventions ever. Because Halloween 40, when Halloween 2018 was about to come out, that was one of the biggest conventions in LA at the time. And we were walking around and people were actually noticing us, like, oh, you were in Terrifier, blah, blah, blah. That movie was great. And we had some producers from Halloween come up to us and start talking about it. And then that's when I got on the phone with Damien. I'm like, this thing is going out of control. He goes, oh, yeah, it's insane. And it just, a couple months after it came out, it got its little cult following. And then Terrifier, obviously, took a long time for Terrifier 2 to come out. All the hard work that we did over the past 3 years, would be good because we wanted to give the audiences what they expected. We wanted to make sure it was right. And then that's when all hell broke loose and it spread like wildfire. It's kind of crazy to believe it or not. But like when I was a kid, I remember, my parents telling me how crazy The Exorcist was when it came out in the theaters, and people were running out and headlines, and the Catholic Church was like banning people from seeing it, but that made people really want to see it more. That's like the whole thing, like these people vomiting and people passing out, people want to see if they can withstand it, so they go to the movie theater. So it's kind of the best kind of marketing, if you really think about it. The more you say, don't go see this, people are gonna go see it. That mashed potatoes thing, I remember we were on set and we were filming it, and we were just all crying, laughing when it happened. And we knew that it was going to be something that the audiences would be attached to. And also the costume shop was basically like the pizza scene from the first one. Art playing around with his victim before, just add some character to add some, comedic relief to the character. He's just not, he wants to play with his victims first. He's not just all, kill. He wants to play with them first, and then he'll go in for the strike. So that's like kind of what sets him apart from everybody else. I know like other ones are just like brutally killed. Like Freddy's more like that too. He likes to play with his victims. He has that little bit of, charisma. But we brought that to Art too, and everyone loves it. It's bizarre, it's crazy, it's mind-blowing, it's surprising, but it's also really, really cool, because ever since I was a kid, I always dreamed about, being attached to, someone who impacts the horror community so much, like a Michael Myers or a Freddy Krueger or Chucky or all that. Now to say that Art has now entered that doorway is really, really crazy, and it puts a smile on my face, because it's a lot of people's hard work finally getting recognized, which is the best part, because so many people, from the makeup artist Jackie to Olga, all the actresses and actors we hired, like so much blood, sweat, and tears went into this project, and to see it, taking off in the capacity that it has is it's not only rewarding to me, but it's rewarding to everybody involved. We know what we went through to make this film, working 20-hour days, 17-hour days at some points, because we just didn't want to quit. And then COVID smack in the middle of when we were filming in the pandemic, right when we were on the tail end almost. It got delayed, but we knew that we wanted to release something that we can put 110% into, and that's what we, ultimately delivered. There's a lot of great moments that are on the set, the bonding moments, at like 3 or 4 in the morning when morale's down and people are like getting tired, and then someone comes in and it's like, oh, a spark of energy happens. And, it's the trials and tribulations of making a movie. I think those are the most important things when those are the memories that stick with you the most. I mean, filming scene-wise, Casey Kill was bizarre. It was crazy to be on. That scene took like 5 days, maybe even more. I don't even remember. PTSD's hitting in, but but it took a long, long time to do that. But all the kills and some of the dialogue scenes, just seeing the actors and the actresses, perform to the high level was rewarding. Because me and Damien, I was the casting director for it as well. Lauren came in pretty early, which she came in with a bunch of other people who auditioned, and we knew right then and there that was Sienna. But I never thought in my life that we would be in a theater, sharing a theater with a Halloween movie on Halloween weekend. That's something that you never really can even dream of, and it was a reality. And people were going to see both movies, and it was crazy. It's really hasn't hit home yet. To me, I still think it's still a dream, but I'm slowly waking up. We made this movie. We're horror fans first, and the reason why we wanted to make a movie like this is because it's like a love letter to all the horror fans out there that have been wanting something fresh but also familiar. Because we've been lacking, I think, in horror, on-set special effects. A lot of things nowadays are so CGI because people are, don't want to put in the work on the set. But sometimes it's better to go retro like that, because that's what people remember from their childhoods. When they watch a movie like that, they remember that type of filmmaking. So, I mean, it's very humbling. All the fans, I've said it on, on social media and everything. We love you guys. You guys are really the gel that holds this movie together. We couldn't have done it without you guys. And the reason why we make these films is for you guys, because we are you guys, if that makes sense. But that's the reason why we did it. And it is very humbling to see all the reactions come out. I hope the people that passed out and vomited are all right and are safe now. But it also is good to, that everyone's having a good time while watching it, and, going back and forth with these headlines.